This is Dolynny TV. Welcome back. Hello. It's been a long time, my friends. We have not had much to talk about when it comes down to the Bakersfield Condors over the past several months as the NHL season has fired back up. But it's great to have you back along here on Dolynny TV. If you're tuning in from Bakersfield, California, or the surrounding area, or you're just really a Condors fan from somewhere else on the planet, hey, all great. Glad to have you along. And if you're returning because you're an Oilers fan and you're thinking, why are we talking about the Bakersfield Condors? Well, that answers your question as to why that jersey hangs on the wall. And B, that also is like the Oilers farm team in the AHL. So yeah, of course we're going to talk about the Condors because we have to get to what the Oilers' next generation of prospects and what the Oilers' depth are up to down on the farm starting today. Camp is open. They're out there skating. The video's live on Twitter on the Bakersfield Condors feed. But what you need to know, my friends, is this is the training camp roster that will take the Bakersfield Condors into the 2021 AHL season. So let me slide over here if you don't mind and list you off the forwards that will attend camp for the Bakersfield Condors. Joe Gambardella. I'm an Oilers fan. I've heard that name before. Yes, he played some games for us back in 2018, 2019. A guy that likes to go to work and really have a fun time playing hockey. Luke Esposito, farmhand that's been down there in Bakersfield a couple of years running now. A great guy from everything I've heard. Jacob Stukel, another guy that's a key piece of that Bakersfield Condors team for a couple of years. James Hamblin, you may remember my good buddy Shea Getzinger, who has a couple of working connections with James Hamblin, giving us some insider info on the kid that signed in Bako during the COVID pause. And then, of course, you have Devin Brasso, another guy that joined from the college ranks that signed with the Condors over the year. And then Tyler Benson. Ooh, there we go. There's the name everybody's been waiting for. Yes, Tyler Benson returns for the Condors yet again. Although, hold the phones. He may not be there very long depending on what happens with Tyler Ennis. So keep that in mind. Now, Brad Malone as well returns. He's on an AHL deal this year after being on an NHL deal with the Oilers last season. He now will more than likely probably be the captain of this AHL squad. Then you've got Ostap Safin, who we have not had any news on until the fact of he's in Bakersfield a couple of weeks ago, and now he's on the ice with the Condors, and all is right with this kind of odd Edmonton Oilers draft pick that we've been watching develop over the past couple of years, most recently last year in the ECHL. Cooper Marody. Hey, that's another name familiar, right? We saw that name a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, he's with the Condors yet again this season. Graham McPhee. We did a video about him a couple of months back asking, like, what's the plan here? And he Vinny Desharnais the situation and signed with the Bakersfield Condors on an AHL deal. Adam Cracknell, NHL deal, AHL vet. That's where he's going to play, and he's going to go out there and lead this team to a little bit of glory, hopefully, down the stretch. I think there's, about 40 games to be played. They're going to have a lot of fun doing it. Now, Blake Christensen, another college kid that signed with this team. Ryan Macleod, not a college kid, big-time Oilers prospect. One of the hardest cuts for the Oilers to make this year. And, well, we'll see how soon we see him once again. Liam Folks, yeah, he'll be a college kid that signed with the Condors. Depth to this roster. Obviously, you see how important these kids are going to be to the Bakersfield Condors this year, given the rest of the roster talent. And then, yes, you've got Seth Griffith, the Oilers' depth farmhand that they signed, that all of a sudden had a beautiful start to the camp, and he was making that taxi squad push, but those hopes got squashed as quickly as they came around. Now to the defense, let's talk about some more college kids. Yanni Kaldis, another college kid that signed with us over this past few couple of months. Marcus Niemelainen, he's finally over from Europe. He's going to come in and make an impact. Like to see that. Kevin Graville. What? Huh? I've heard that name before. He's an Oiler at some point. He's back? When did the Oilers sign this guy? Just recently. Signed an AHL deal with the Bakersfield Condors, and he will be a depth defenseman on the farm team with, in worst case scenario, a potential to sign an NHL contract and make his way up back to the NHL this season. Highly doubt it. We got a lot of talent ahead of him. For instance, not Vinny Desharnais, who is number 6 on the depth chart here, but Vinny Desharnais, now in his second year with the Bakersfield Condors. Ryan Stanton returns to the Condors. Oh, hey, yeah, we were talking about Gravel a second ago. How about Theodore Lundstrom? That's one of those defensemen that is ahead of, Gravel, way ahead of Gravel in the depth chart for the Oilers NHL squad. Theodore Lundstrom hoping to come in, really be a leader on this team and be a part of something positive to get his game up to the NHL. And Giannis Yaks, I'm not sure how you pronounce it, Jax, I hope it's Jax, that'd be a lot easier, is also another player that has signed with the Condors over this time from the college ranks. Now, you want to talk about steal. You want to talk about a steal of a deal. The Oilers made a lot of trades at the trade deadline last year in 2020. One of them that nobody seems to remember is Joel Persson to the Ducks for a 7th round pick conditional that we will not be seeing, and Angus Redmond. Well, look at who's on this goaltending list. Yeah, see, Tyson keeps track of these things somewhat coordinated sometimes, and Angus Redmond just slowly, after playing in the ECHL last year, working his way up the Edmonton Oilers depth chart. Yeah, that's a thing that's happening. And of course, that's less exciting compared to look who's in Bako. After long last, some Team Canada stints, oh man, it's been everywhere. Graz 99ers over there in Drummondville, I believe, is where he was playing before. He's Moncton, he's played some places, has Olivier Rodrigue, but now at long last, he is at the next stop before the NHL for him. Our goaltending prospect, the one everybody's just right hyped about outside of Ilya Konovalov, don't forget about him. Yes, Olivier Rodrigue is set to make his AHL debut this year after, lighting up the early part of the ICHL with the Graz 99ers, and now headed into his first camp with the Condors. Oh, you better believe it. It's going to be a fun time to see what he has to bring to the good old Bakersfield Condors. So that's your roster, my friends. Now, the other side, too, is what you need to know is you have to go to the Condors Twitter account and check out. They have a tribute right on the ice for the rest of the season to Colby Cave, the CC 26 right off the face-off dot at center ice to the one side of the boards, and that will remain there as far as I understand for this season. Always with us, Caveman, the tribute with the orange and blue hearts as per the usual on what is their first opportunity to honor him since his passing. So it's going to be a magic season down in Bakersfield. Why? Because, you're going to get used to, if you're in Bakersfield, a whole bunch of names that weren't there before, but a whole bunch of old names that were there before at the same rate. And for you, if you get to watch Olivier Rodrigue, that's going to be a blast. I can't wait to hear people light up my phone from Bakersfield and say, hey, Olivier Rodrigue, 100 times better than that Stuart Skinner guy. Just you wait. I can't wait to hear that, because that's going to be exciting, because finally the Oilers have that competition in the crease. And obviously Rodrigue a few years behind Skinner in development, but when you start hearing that, it gets exciting, because when's the last time the Oilers had guys competing for the crease? Now, Redmond, if I'm going to make any quick notes on this whole situation for Bakersfield, the goaltending situation will figure itself out more so when the Oilers NHL goaltending situation figures itself out. Obviously, Stuart Skinner may find himself down in the AHL at some point. Troy Grosnick may find himself down there. You may see, of course, Dylan Wells back down there, who is currently the third string in the NHL, because Stuart Skinner is the backup and all things are crazy and terrible when it comes to the Oilers goaltending, despite Mikko Koskinen grabbing the reins of number one goalie and doing that and more for the Oilers so far this season. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. If you're tuning in from Bako this evening, hey, you know what? It's only 5:41 as you're currently watching, or as I'm currently recording this, so I hope you enjoy supper, dinner, whatever you call it. And secondarily to that, I hope you enjoy that preseason game coming your way right away. Here I believe there's a preseason game between the Condors and, who is it? The Condors and, yes, the San Diego Gulls on Sunday at 4 p.m. Holte. Yeah, Condors Holte. you may know that name, Ryan Holt, will have the call on Fox Sports 970 and the iHeartMedia app. So if you want to listen to iHeartRadio and Fox Sports, whatever I just said, that's how you can tune in to the Bakersfield Condors game up here in Canada for free. My friends, I'm Tyson. This is Dolynny TV. I will catch you in the next one.